So today I want to talk about Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield and that debate that isn't quite settled, but has a kind of leader and a couple other things, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Kyler Murray and a few other things, but start with the news. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray was named the AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, beating out Josh Jacobs and A.J. Brown for that honor. I know that there's some folks that feel like Terry McLaurin should have been a part of this debate, but if you looked at what Kyler was doing while the rest of the rookies were trying to keep up, you could see how he wins this award, passing for 3,722 yards and 20 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, 544 yards rushing, 12 INTs, just a magnificent rookie outing for him. Now, last year's NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, you'll know, is New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley, and he had 2,000 yards from scrimmage. We're talking about nearly 800 yards rushing, nearly 800 yards receiving, over 1,300 yards rushing, and beat out Baker Mayfield, who had a magnificent season too, coming off the bench to start 13 games, playing 13 and a half, throwing for 3,725 yards, which is more than Kyler Murray, and 27 passing touchdowns, that rookie NFL record, and 14 interceptions throughout his 2018 campaign, and tried his damnedest to give the Cleveland Browns their first winning season since 2007. Now, one of the cool things about being an Oklahoma fan is you get to do the navel-gazing thing of which one of our Heisman Trophy quarterbacks, our Big 12 championship quarterbacks, our college football playoff quarterbacks is better than the other, right? Which one of these guys that, in the case of Texas Tech, they didn't know what they had. In the case of Texas A&M, they didn't know what they had, didn't want it to mature, and wouldn't allow it to play baseball, did feel like is the better of the two. Now, there's folks that come down on the Kyler Murray side because he's purely a better athlete, but he's also a better athlete than everybody. I mean, he's the only guy to get drafted into the top 10 in both the Major League Baseball draft and the NFL draft. I mean, they were willing to change the rules of how they pay rookies to try to get that dude to play Major League Baseball. He is singular. He is unique. He is himself, and I am privileged to be able to watch him play and got to have something to say worthwhile about his game. Same thing with Baker Mayfield, who is much more charismatic of the two and goes his own way, has done it his own way, walked on at 2 FBS programs to become the starting quarterback, and of course, did what he did at Oklahoma. Heisman Trophy winner, goes to the college football playoff, wins Big 12 championships, sets the world on fire. Now, you either have an answer or you don't. There are people that say Baker's my quarterback. There's people saying Kyler's my quarterback. Who would you want in a tie ball game going into the fourth quarter? Who would you want with one play left on the line? Who would you want in a game of foursquare, tic-tac-toe, whatever? But you don't have a definitive answer. And now we kind of have Kyler Murray with the lead because he's got this trophy. And it's an accolade and a list of very long list of accolades, right? But you can make the argument that he doesn't win this award if Saquon Barkley comes out in 2019 and not 2018. And Baker Mayfield could have won it in 2018 if he'd been able to play 16 games like Kyler Murray. I mean, he passed for more yards than Kyler Murray did with 3 more games to play. Now, we could talk about the rosters. We could talk about what he had or didn't have. But that's the fun of it, right? There's not really a good answer here. There's only how you feel about it. Both answers are awesome, and Oklahoma fans are spoiled. Matter of fact, 22 years without a losing season. I mean, it's a charmed existence for many, right? You make the college football playoff 4 out of 5 times, and the worst thing that people can say is you didn't win any of them. Big whoop, 5 straight Big 12 championships, okay? You also get to add to that the guy that coached both of those quarterbacks coached a 3rd Heisman finalist and 4th overall, including D.D. Westbrook. And he has an opportunity to have a 4th straight quarterback be a Heisman finalist with Spencer Rattler, Tanner Mordecai competing for the job this season. I think most of us believe that Spencer Rattler is going to win the job. It's his to lose at this point. And what you saw, even in the closing minutes of a blowout in the Peach Bowl, gives everybody some hope, right? He believes in himself. We believe in him. He's shown the goods. He's got these outstanding trick passes, throwing balls behind his back for 40 yards on a rope, throwing a ball 69 yards through the air, 71 yards through the air. I mean, Spencer Rattler is a talent unto himself, and I can't wait to see what he's able to do with Lincoln Riley as his quarterback's coach and his play caller because of what Lincoln has been able to do with both Baker, Kyler, and Jalen Hurts. And that's what you get to say if you're an OU fan. You get to say Lincoln Riley coaches Spencer Rattler. He coaches Jaden Hazelwood, Theo Weiss, Trajan Bridges. Marcus Major's going to be ready to go. Kennedy Brooks is coming back. Trey Sermon's coming back. The offensive line returns 5 guys that started on the offensive line last year. They ought to be just fine and humming right along as they have been since Lincoln Riley became the play caller in 2015. And that's a really cool thing if you're an OU fan. A really cool thing for me has just been the growth of this channel. We've had members that have decided on Patreon or here to try to help this place grow, and I've tried to show you evidence of the growth with guests being able to come into the studio and chop it up with me. The RJ Young podcast is roaring back again, and if you don't subscribe to it, please do so. Rate, review, all those good things. My buddy Jerry Ostrowski came on, and he had some really great stories to tell about Joe Paterno telling his mom, hey, we misevaluated you and him. And Jerry became an All-American at TU, and he's called Tulsa home for 30 years now. You know, it's a really good story. Had Zach Poff on from Max Preps, who's the football editor there. Gave some great insight into the top 2021, 2022 prospects and the great high school football programs across the country. He's money. We're going to have more guests come through on video and in audio. You'll see segments of that throughout the channel because I've come to understand that the long hour-long videos are just not what most people want, so we'll do it in 10-minute increments and see how that goes. But another part of the growth of this channel is on Tuesday, I get to go to the Jim Thorpe Award banquet, which is more than just recognizing Grant Delpit as Thorpe Award winner. It's for us. It's for Oklahomans. All-staters are going to come through there, and they're going to get to see how big that room is and how many dignitaries make a point of making it to the National Cowboy Heritage Museum. And it's a black tie affair, man. You wear a tux to this thing. I bought a tux last year to go. And it was one of the thrills of my life. I got to take Laurel with me. And that was awesome. It was great. And I get to talk with folks that are really passionate about the sports in my state and the legacy of sport in my state. Mike James, who's the president of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, and many of the members of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame Executive Council and Paycom Jim Thorpe Award Executive Council, and getting to know many of those folks like my friend David, who made sure that I got to go to the Warren Spahn Award banquet, which recognized Patrick Corbin as the Warren Spahn Award winner. It's given to the best left-handed pitcher in Major League Baseball. This year, it was Patrick Corbin, who won Game 7 and has won a World Series, the Washington Nationals. What's great about that was Bob Carpenter was also the MC for this event, and you'll know Bob Carpenter is a Tulsa guy. I now occupy the time slot that he once had at the Sports Animal, 9 to 11 a.m. weekdays. And he came up a Cardinals fan, a Cardinals guy, and good things happened to him. I bought the playbook that is his, Bob Carpenter's scorebook, and learned to score games using it like announcers do. And he called the Washington Nationals since 2006, and he called them right through to the World Series. And that was great to hear him tell those stories, and he's magnificent on the mic. And in that room were folks like Michelle Smith and, of course, Patrick Corbin and his wife, Jen, who was born on Tinker Air Force Base because her father, who was with them, was stationed there. Oh, thank you for your service, sir. And there were others. I mean, there was Ferguson Jenkins, man, like Hall of Famer in 91. A man called Guthrie home for a number of years. And Michelle Smith was there giving away her award, just as Ferguson Jenkins was. Ferguson Jenkins gave outstanding awards to high school baseball players. Michelle Smith gave outstanding awards to high school softball players and a couple of coaches. And then I got to hear Warren Spahn's kiddo get on the mic and tell us, hey, look, my dad played 1 year of Major League Baseball where he didn't have a significant start. And then World War II broke out, and My dad was dropped into Normandy and he hunted Nazis. Came back, won 363 games as a left-handed pitcher and hit 35 home runs and 363 hits. They just don't make them that way anymore, man. That's Warren Spahn. He's from here. He's from my state. Like many others. Johnny Bench. You know Coach Jones, whose show follows my show at The Animal, who coached Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders. You know all about Barry Switzer. You know all about Johnny Bench. You know Mickey Mantle is from here. And to be reminded of those things and that my state continues to just pump them out, man. Troy Aikman's from Henrietta. People forget that. I don't. You don't. I didn't expect to be able to do some of these things. I started talking about what I like talking about, which is OU football, on a piece of cardio equipment called a step mill. And many of you adopted that because my passion and my energy apparently is worthwhile. And I do my best to not just be informed, but to give you insight and an angle you can use or find entertaining or interesting. And I'm holding this ball because on this ball, it's Michelle Smith's signature. It's Ferguson Jenkins' signature. It's Patrick Corbin's signature. It's Bob Carpenter's signature. I never had the opportunity to have folks I admired in the world of baseball, softball, sign my ball, man. I came up playing baseball, like Kyler. It was my first love. It was the game my mother taught me to play first, because it was her best sport. Catching the ball on the first hop, skip, throw. Nobody's ever going to beat you out. I don't care how strong or weak your arm is. Learning to bunt, what it meant to bunt. Learning to round the bases. Learning to put the barrel of the bat on the ball. Identifying pitches. Came up as a catcher. So I'm going to tell on myself real quick. So I'm in this VIP room. And I'm kind of feeling a little bit out of sorts. But that's my doing, not anybody else's there. Everybody was gracious to me. And my buddy David says, "Hey, RJ, do you want to meet Ferguson Jenkins?" Yeah. Want to meet Ferguson Jenkins? Want to meet one of the greatest pitchers of all time? Yes, thank you. And I had my ball with me. Because, I was hunting the signature. And Ferguson, as a foul was, he said, you want a signature? I said, yes, sir. And I dropped the ball. Like, literally, I dropped the ball on the floor. And I bent over to pick it up, and I handed it to him. He says, "I can tell you're not a shortstop." Yo. Said, "No, sir, I'm a catcher." And it would have gone right by the backstop. You're throwing it. So, yeah, like, Ferguson Jenkins told a joke and regaled us, with how strong his arm was, how many innings he would pitch. I mean, in one season he had 30 complete games. What? Had 42 starts. What? It's never going to happen again because baseball's just a different game now. It's just a different sport. Guys just won't get pushed that way anymore. We're afraid that their arms might blow up, and they might. But Ferguson's didn't, and he'd be the first person to tell you that. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about that and kind of put it under this umbrella of Kyler and Baker. So forgive me. Headlines suck. I hate headlines. But one of the things that I had vowed to do with the advent of membership, with the advent of 2020, with the growth of this channel, which has been insane, thank you, is try to peel it back a little bit and let you know what's going on and why everything that we're doing is important. It means the world to me. We're giving back. I'm still working on some things that I can't wait to tell you about. Still doing the dodgeball tournament at the end of the month on February 29th at Owasso Family YMCA. Come hit me if you want to. Yeah. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.